Maxwell hit me from Buffalo, Minnesota. And he said, what are some of the under-the-radar games this year? I'm glad you asked, Maxwell, because we've had this segment for like 3 weeks, and for whatever reason, it's been put off. Auburn at Oklahoma in Week 4, huge game. Auburn at Oklahoma features the number 10 and number 11 teams in the SEC odds right now. But here's what's funny. 10th and 11th in the SEC sounds like those teams are going to be terrible. They're 17th and 18th in the college football playoff odds. It's just the SEC's pretty deep. We don't know how many elite teams there will be, but there are a lot of pretty good teams, theoretically, in the SEC. We got 2 third-year head coaches that both have to get it done. Hugh Freeze, Brent Venables. By the time they play this game in Norman in Week 4, Michigan will have already come to Norman, and Auburn will have already played at Baylor. So are they undefeated? Do they both have a loss? Maybe multiple losses. You got Jackson Arnold, presumably starting at quarterback for Auburn, and he returns to Oklahoma. 2 teams with, I don't know what they're rated, but wherever you would rate them, probably 2 of the most underrated pure roster talent teams in college football, because no one expects much from either of them, and they both got top 15 rosters. So I'm going to circle that one. I circle Clemson at Louisville. It's really late in the year. It's a Friday game. It's in Week 12. Everybody, including me, thinks that Clemson is the clear favorite right now to win the ACC. You got the returning quarterback, the returning offensive coordinator, really good defense. Everything's been geared towards this year. And if not Clemson, people probably say, okay, well, then it's going to be Miami. Maybe SMU is a sleeper. Hey, Louisville spanked Clemson last year. They dominated this game. It was not even remotely as close as the final score indicated. And Louisville's sitting there, and they're an afterthought again. And they went and got Miller Moss out of the portal. And Jeff Brom, I will tell you, we've had him for several years as the most underrated head coach in college football. He gets Clemson in his house on a Friday night, I believe in November. No one's going to talk about it. No one's going to be looking at that. But we are. So that's an underrated game. I am shocked that we're about to say what we're about to say, but USC at Notre Dame. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're not, I humbly ask that you click subscribe. It's free. It doesn't sign you up for anything. What it does is it helps us keep this show free so we can just do college football year-round. All right, back to the clip. For the record, I disagreed with this, but I was overruled by the staff. The staff said, yes, USC Notre Dame, it's not at the forefront of our mind right now. USC has several noteworthy Big Ten games this year. Notre Dame has Miami to start the year. They've got Texas A&M. The thought internally here was most people will look at this as what should be a win for Notre Dame. Fair. I don't chalk it up as one just yet. So that's maybe why I disagreed. Plus, I've got so much respect for this rivalry. I just never assume that. But, Colin, do we happen to have USC's schedule? Because I was looking at it earlier, and I thought, if, big letters this time of year, but it's a fun word to use in April. If USC is to pop out of nowhere this year and be a surprise contender, this is where it would happen. Because at this point, USC's, 6-7 games into the season, I think, they will have played Missouri State, Georgia Southern, probably a couple of wins. Their first conference game is at Purdue. They will be favored. It's a brand new coaching staff there. They should win. They got Michigan State at home. They should win that game. There is a 3-week stretch. There's a bye week in here, but there's a 3-week stretch. They go at Illinois, and then they got Michigan. They could be a 2-loss team by this point. They could be undefeated. But if they are the latter and not the former, think about them going to Notre Dame and coming out of South Bend undefeated and with a bye week. So America's got 2 weeks to talk about it. My point is USC could win. They could lose 5 games again this year and be a non-factor. But if they're going to pop, that week right there, coming out of that week, that's the area to circle on the calendar. That's when the world would start talking about USC. Big if, obviously. And then in the Big Ten, Ohio State at Illinois in Week 7. There's this stretch for Ohio State where they play 3 road games in 4 weeks. I think this is the second of the 3. Big question about the Big Ten, as Colin is showing you the odds right now. Ohio State's the favorite, Oregon second, Penn State's third, Michigan's fourth. It's been that way forever. Big question about the Big Ten. Is there a tier 2, and how deep is it? Because it's been sorely lacking recently. But the top end of the conference is made up for it. No one cares how deep your second tier is when Oregon and Ohio State were as good as they were last year. And maybe they will be again this year. But the difference could be, what if Illinois has their best season they've had in a long time? Or Nebraska or Iowa. Indiana fulfilled their end of the bargain last year. But what if Illinois is that? Well, this is where you find out. Illinois has a stretch, a 3-week stretch, where they got USC and Ohio State coming into Champaign. 3-week period, no bye week in between. Split those games for all I care, and you're a factor. But if you were to win the Ohio State game especially, that is its own whole new world in the Big Ten, because those upsets just don't really happen in that conference. The upset has been Michigan over Ohio State, but those are two big-time programs, rivalry, etc. Ohio State hasn't been falling in these kind of games. Illinois is number 3 in returning production. Ohio State's in the 100s. It's in week 7, so it's deep enough in the year where Ohio State's figured out quarterback, whatever. But who knows? It's an underrated game. That's what I was asking, and I'm telling you, I think that's an underrated game.